You know, when people talk about work-life balance, what's your honest opinion of that?
Kobe Bryant wasn't doing 3 throws at 3 a.m. for no reason.
But there's a cost to that, right?
George Heaton,
the founder of global fashion brand Represent.
worn by The Weeknd, Post Malone, Justin Bieber.
One of the most popular luxury street brands in the world.
Motivation's a small thing that can last 2 minutes or an hour. Motivation can come from listening to a song on your iPod. People say it takes 10 years to become an overnight success, and I think that's true. I want to get fucking rich. Of course I want to be rich. Everyone wants to be rich. Your ecosystem that you build around you is everything. Whether that's the distance it takes you to get to the gym or the people you follow on social media.
You know, when people talk about work-life balance, what's your honest opinion of that?
Bullshit. If you actually want to build something that's going to stand the test of time and make you very successful and rich and happy and bring other people with you, it's going to take everything. I fully believe that. I don't think you can half-ass it. I don't think it can be a side project, and I don't think it can be something that's just 3 hours a day. I think you've got to go fully into it to become like high-level achiever, like actually a winner.
What are you willing to sacrifice for that?
Everything, whatever it takes. Why not? I'm already into it now, so I've got to go full on. Look, Kobe Bryant wasn't doing 3 throws at 3 a.m. for no reason. You got to be the best. You got to do everything, right? So.
I always talk about the cost that comes with that and the sacrifice. Are you willing to sacrifice you not having a family yourself?
For the time being, yeah. Maybe later on in life when it becomes something that I can step aside from even more, then yeah. You're
going to want to step aside from it because you're getting anxiety doing 4-hour dates. How are you going to
I am, but I'm learning. I'm starting to do it. Like
really?
I said, yeah.
You've seen progress in that regard?
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's just about building that muscle of understanding you can do other things and realizing it's not going to come crashing down if you take your foot off the brake for a second, but still knowing that you're giving it your all when you are in it.
Is there a point where I always think about Burberry as an example, the Burberry story of how they kind of went out of fashion because they became too popular. What I'm trying to say is, like, Burberry was aspirational. So lots of people start wearing it. Some less aspirational people start wearing it.
Yeah.
People start knocking it off and selling it for super cheap in markets. Then eventually it's no longer aspirational,
right? Because
it got so popular that it becomes uncool. Do you worry about that as a risk factor for Represent?
So that's like a life cycle, right? And that comes every couple of years or every 7 years, whatever it may be in the industry. But there's always different markets to push and pull on. Also, like, Represent is so small in terms of size compared to Burberry. At the moment, we have a very core customer base where we kind of can identify them and we know where they are and what they're doing. And until that goes mainstream, which I think usually happens probably at like 250, 300 million revenue. It's not a worry as such at the moment. I used to worry about it a lot, but like when Spenny came in, who's handling a $500 million business, he's like, we're barely touching the sides. 20% of our revenues in the US, that's only $20 million. It could sell $20 million out of LA and not see the product for the next 6 months. You wouldn't even see someone wearing it. So at this point, no, but it is something that we'll always think about, and you've always got to limit your distribution and make sure you're selling it in the right places. And look, we are still like a luxury brand. We're in the best stores in the world. Like, it's not like you can walk into a PacSun and pick us up. So it's still not a mainstream brand, and it's expensive.
I was wondering if that's less of a threat on the 24/7 side of things, where it's more about like utility and less about like fashion, because, you know, everyone wears Nike. Yeah. And no one's like, oh my God, I'm not wearing Nike because they're wearing, you know. Yeah.
Biggest sportswear brand in the world. And how are they able to tier a Travis Scott or a Virgil Abloh Jordan 1 that's going for $5,000, but they're still selling tracksuits at $20? And you can still see everyone in Gold's Gym to everyone in fucking Equinox wearing it. So there's just tiers to everything, right? There's a trickle down system with everything.
There's going to be a kid listening right now that's like 18, 16, and they just can't find the motivation, whatever that means. They can't find the motivation to get up and go to the gym. They've got some idea, but it's still on the sofa that they had it on. Like, what do you say to that young man or woman is the first thing to get the wheels in motion?
Fuck motivation. I don't have motivation a lot of time. It's actually more about discipline. It's about just getting it done. Get up and get it done. Like with anything, with work, with working out, with creating a product, with building a brand, with relationships, whatever. It's discipline over motivation. Motivation's a small thing that can last 2 minutes or an hour. Motivation can come from listening to a song on your iPod. If you've got discipline, you're willing to do it every single day of your life. And knowing that it's going to take so long to do it, you just get up and do it. You don't even think about motivation.
And what is discipline then? Discipline is an instruction manual? Like, what is discipline to you?
Yeah, I guess it is an instruction manual. I guess it's a list of things that you must do for yourself to become what you want to be. And I guess it's a deciding factor on whether you're going to do something or not.
Why don't people start? And I say that because, you know, in hindsight now, you're going to understand, looking back at your own work, the quality of it, what you went through, and you probably have a pretty good idea on why people just don't start. You must get so many DMs from people that have an idea, a fashion idea or anything. Why don't they start?
I think it's that pressure of failure, the feeling of doubt, like, and as well, wasting time. If they've got a family or they've got a job where it's full time, then to start something else on the side when they've got to see to the family or the girlfriend or the wife or whatever it is, like, you don't have much time to go and do something else that you then hope will eventually in the future take off or become successful. And it takes so long. Like, it does take, I know it's, a lot of people say it takes 10 years to become an overnight success, and I think that's true. You
spent almost 4 years, from 2012 till, I guess, no, 2 years, 2012 till about 2015-ish, kind of just effectively messing around.
Yeah, messing around, really. Messing around. A lot of messing around.
Learning,
yeah.
It's probably a better, better use of words.
And enjoying it as well. Like, me and my friends would sit in my dad's shed like all night, just figuring out products and things that we wanted to do and where we could take the brand. And I'd love to go back to them times because they were great. And we had nothing and no one was really watching us, but we thought everyone was watching us and we thought it was the next big fucking powerhouse of a brand. So yeah, it was fun. Like, I don't regret any of it.
You know, putting these two questions together about like why people don't start, and also those 3 years where you weren't really making any money, and you were in the shed in your dad's house. Why didn't you quit? Because, as I said a second ago, there must have been so much force telling you to go and get a real job. Yeah. But why didn't you quit?
I think it just leads back to, again, proving people wrong and proving myself right. And like, the only other option I had was to go and work for my dad. And I didn't want to do that because I'd done that all my teens and I hated it. I hated cleaning minibuses and ripping stickers off the sides of windows and going to auctions and bidding on cars and stuff. Like, that wasn't me. And that was the only other option I had. So it was like, this is it. It's all or nothing, really.
Because, you know, if I'm a young fashion designer or a young creative and I look at your work now, I look at the product that represents putting out now, it's easy to see how one might be put off from starting. Right. Because I look at your stuff and go, Jesus Christ, like,
you can't compete with it.
You can't compete with that. Like, that's more than 10 years of like mastery. So I'm just not going to bother starting. Mm-hmm. What do you say to those people?
I say, look, you got to put the work in. It's going to be 10 years. Like, regardless of what industry it is or what product you're making, like, I wouldn't even think about the next 2 to 3 years. I'd think about 10 years. Like, that's the mindset you've got to have. And it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be fun, but you just got to do everything you can to make it work.
Relationships, romantic relationships. Let's start with non-romantic relationships, in fact. You talk about having to shed people in terms of like negative influences in order to change your life. People ask me about this all the time, which is, you know, how important is the environment on personal and professional success?
I think it's everything. I think your ecosystem that you build around you is everything. Whether that's the distance it takes you to get to the gym or the people you follow on social media. If you're following Joe from school that's out every night drinking and you're watching them stories, even if it's 20 seconds of your day, you're wasting your time watching them stories, and you're also looking at things that are just absolutely pointless to your life. So why don't you go and follow someone who's done what you want to do, or is doing what you want to do, or who actually inspires you, and just clear out all the bullshit, and you're going to be so much more in the right headspace if you do something like that.
Did you do that? Did you clear out?
Yeah. I did it a lot of times. Got a lot of bad messages from doing it.
Really? You unfollowed Joe? Okay.
Yeah, why'd you unfollow me?
Can you explain it to
him? Yeah. Just tell him how it is. Just say, look, mate, I don't want to watch you sit anymore.
So you've gone from being a business that was making sort of 8 million in 2018 to, as we sit here now, I think last year you did about $100 million.
Yeah.
Which is exceptional. Money is now large in your life, and I'm sure you run the numbers and you go, shit, look, I'm worth this much money. If I sold it for this, fucking hell.
Try not to.
But how do you think about money now?
I'm not going to lie and sit here and say like, oh, money's not an issue. Money's not a thing that drives me, because it is. And I think it is with everyone. And I'll speak to billionaires and they'll say on camera that they're doing it for this and they're doing it for that. And then they'll say off camera, like, I want to get fucking rich. Of course I want to be rich. Everyone wants to be rich. There's no negativity that comes with having a lot of money. And I think that society and the way it's perceived now is like not a good thing, that you're making a lot of money. Like, I want Represent to be doing billions. I want everyone in the business to be extremely wealthy. I want the leadership team to be able to have generational wealth. Like that's first and foremost. Like, I love that. Why not? But
if you had £1 billion now, would you be any happier?
I don't measure anything on happiness. Like I'm happy to sit and design for 6 hours, or I'm happy to go for a run and like absolutely ruin my legs. Like that makes me happy. I also like doing hard things and rewarding myself. And that's not really money, but like I said earlier, money never has a negative impact, I don't think.
But on that point about giving you $1 billion, if I give you $1 billion and it's not going to make you any happier, then what's the point in the money?
I think it will make me happier.
Really?
Yeah, of course. Dude, my family would be set forever. All my team would be set forever. Like that in itself makes me happy. Imagine me being able to turn up to my family and being like, okay, Dad, I know you've worked all your life. Here's this. Enjoy it.
Thank you, Georgia. Thank you for a number of reasons. Thank you for dressing me for the last 3 years, because I think your clothes are the best.
The conversation delves into the intricate balance between dedication to work and maintaining a fulfilling personal life. George Heaton stresses the need for wholehearted commitment to achieve lasting success and fulfillment. He was citing examples like Kobe Bryant's relentless work ethic to emphasize the importance of giving one's all to their endeavors. However, there's also acknowledgement of the sacrifices involved, such as postponing personal aspirations for professional growth. The discussion extends to business dynamics, touching on the risks of popularity saturation and the importance of strategic distribution. Brands like Nike are highlighted for their ability to cater to both utility and fashion markets, maintaining a diverse consumer base. The conversation addresses the struggle of finding motivation, especially for young individuals who might be grappling with inertia in pursuing their goals. It emphasizes the importance of discipline over fleeting motivation. Rather than waiting for inspiration to strike, the focus is on cultivating discipline to consistently take action towards one's objectives. Discipline is likened to an instruction manual, a set of commitments and actions necessary for personal growth and achievement. It's about committing to a regimen, whether it's going to the gym, working on projects, or building relationships, without relying solely on momentary bursts of motivation. Ultimately, discipline becomes the deciding factor in whether one moves forward towards their aspirations or remains stagnant. The conversation explores the reasons why many people hesitate to start pursuing their ideas or ventures. It identifies common barriers such as fear of failure, self-doubt, and concerns about time investment, especially for those with existing responsibilities like family or full-time jobs. Reflecting on personal experiences, George recalls a period of several years spent experimenting and learning without immediate financial success. Despite the challenges and societal pressures to pursue a traditional career path, he persevered due to a combination of determination, a desire to prove skeptics wrong, and a refusal to settle for a job they disliked. This commitment to their vision and aversion to a predetermined fate kept them dedicated to their entrepreneurial pursuits, even when faced with uncertainty and minimal initial success. The conversation addresses the intimidation that young creatives might feel when comparing their work to established figures in the industry, like George Heaton. They may feel discouraged from starting their own ventures, assuming they can't compete with years of experience and mastery. In response, George emphasizes the necessity of putting in the work and adopting a long-term mindset. He stresses that success doesn't come overnight and that aspiring individuals should focus on a 10-year horizon rather than short-term gains. Despite acknowledging the challenges and sacrifices involved, he encourages perseverance and relentless effort as key ingredients for success in any industry. The conversation revolves around the significance of surrounding oneself with positive influences for both personal and professional growth. George emphasizes the crucial role of one's environment, including the people they interact with and the content they consume, in shaping their mindset and actions. They suggest curating social media feeds and real-life connections to include individuals who inspire and align with personal aspirations, while shedding negative influences. Despite facing backlash for this practice, George attests to the positive impact it has had on his own life.